Hello and welcome to a new Google Sheets video in Practical Sheets. Today, part 8 of the inventory system. But actually, if you've seen the first video or maybe the first two videos, this will work. You don't have to have seen the whole series. These are just special requests or special add-ons we could include in our systems. What we are going to do today is a transaction history sheet. This means that we can see for a specific product, for example, we can go to Foo Fighters t-shirt and see what has been the history regarding inventory. How many times has it been bought, when, how many times has it been sold, when. So if we take a look at this one we did for this example, you can see this is like a curriculum vitae or a fact sheet of the product. Then you can see easily which is the reference, which is the size, which is the color, the initial stock, the current stock, and you could include many more things. But the most important thing is this history. You can see, okay, I started in July, I bought 5, and then I sold 3, and then I bought another 6, and this is the entire history in chronological order, so I can see the exact movement of the product that gets to the current inventory today. I know you love it. It has some crazy formulas that I will explain inside. So it's kind of a dashboard, more of a detailed report of each product. I hope you like it, but before beginning, I have to invite you to subscribe to the channel, or even better, go to practicalsheets.com, where you'll find a Google Sheet Academy with courses on inventory, on Google Apps Script, on Google Forms, on Google Sheets, and much, much more. Hope to see you there. Let's continue with the video. So let's begin. First, my first note is that don't worry if you haven't followed all the parts. For example, if you see this warehousing and you get scared, don't worry. I think it was a really nice video, but if you don't need it, I think you can do today's video without any problem. Okay, so we're going to create a new sheet and we're going to call this product CV or product detail or product transaction history. You can call it whatever you want. So we're going to divide this. We're going to do a report, a nice report when you can see, for example, this tool t-shirt, and I want to know how many times has been it bought, at what price. Maybe if you are doing this location thing, then you can put what is the location where it was bought, how many units, what date, whatever. And then you can see the transaction. Well, first we bought 5, then you sold 1. There are a lot of ways of doing this. Let's start. So at the beginning, we're just going to select from any product. You could do it with the reference or you can do it with the product. Actually, I think it's better to do it with the product because you won't always know the reference. So let's say data validation, list from a range. From our product, we're going to choose this B2 up to B. Okay, let's reject the input. And here we have it. Okay, so we're going to share one thing. So I'm going to do, let's create one column here as a buffer. Maybe down here we could put the reference just with a VLOOKUP. It's not that difficult. We're going to do VLOOKUP. It's a reverse VLOOKUP. Okay, so I'm going to look at this, but comma. Actually, let's add some more zoom to this. Okay, again, VLOOKUP. I'm going to look for this where here in my product, but in a compound or a created array where my first column will be B, then I put a comma and the second column will be this reference. And in this new created array, I'm going to look for it in the second column. Second, then remember always to close it with a 0, and that's it. Okay? We'll deal with the formatting at the end. Let's go to our product. Maybe you can bring the size and the color just for you to know. Any other characteristics you may have from your product, you can bring it from them. The same thing we did here with a VLOOKUP. So we could put here maybe size and color. Again, with a VLOOKUP, but much simpler than the one we just did. VLOOKUP, we're looking for this in our product tab. And now we can do this. Select all my table and the appropriate column. In this case, if we're saying size, then it will be number 3, and then let's close it with 0. That's it. And for the other one, so I'm just going to copy this formula, then paste it here, double click, or F2, paste it, and the only thing I'm going to change is that this is no longer column 3, but column 4, and here is my column. Okay? Again, you can do the formatting at the end. Now we have the main properties of our product, and what else we want to know? Now we want to know maybe the current stock, you know? So this could be current stock. And here valued at. So the current stock will be again a VLOOKUP, but in another table. So VLOOKUP, I'm going to look for this in my stock. In this case, again, I told you that this won't change too much if you don't have this warehousing thing, but in this case, we have to go way, way, way back, way here to the Z column where I have the price, the stock, the total stock and the total price. If you don't have all these warehouse, then you'll have to drag a much more smaller table. It will be B to E or to F or something like that. So let's just leave this open. And we're going to say, in our case, it will be 23 and 0. So let's see if Tenacious D t-shirt is stock at 1. Yeah, here I have it. And then I'm going to copy this, paste it here, and it will be 24. So again, you just adjust it for your database. Actually, I have something wrong here. I think I need to move this one. This is 24 and this is 25. Okay, so now I can look at the transaction history. So we could do this 2 ways, or many ways actually. We could have first the input here and then the output here. I think a nicer way would be in the same data, we can have in one column the inputs, in one column the outputs, but we are going to have them in chronological order. This is all the trick of this video. If anything new you'll get out from this video is this part. So this will be really nice. What I'm going to do is first, I'm going to bring all my inputs, but filtered by the product we're talking about. This we could do it in a number of ways, that being the most used, filter and query. So let's do it with filter to see how it works. So I'm going to do a filter function. The filter function will filter, let's go to our input, will filter my product names. Will filter, what do I want? I want maybe the units, the cost, the total, and the date could be. So these 4 things. So I'm going to filter C to E, C2 up to E, and I'm going to filter them when B, we should have the same number of rows. When B2 to B are equal to my current product, meaning this Tenacious D t-shirt. Let's see what happens here. I did it wrong because I don't know why it didn't bring the correct reference. It's bringing a reference from this tab and not from the input tab. So I'm going to manually write here input and this exclamation sign, and here also input, this exclamation sign. Now I have it. Maybe what I could do is drag this one row and just copy these 4 things: units, cost, price, total, and date. I don't know why it's not bringing the date. I think this is up to F. My mistake. Okay, excellent. But let's try with another one that I know that has more. Maybe this Mastodon t-shirt. No. Maybe this Metallica poster. So I have 2 of them. Okay, now I have 2 of them. Now, what I want to do is in another table have the outputs, but then I'm going to mix them. So let's do this very similar. I'm going to copy this and change this for output. Let's see if it works. Maybe not, but it is a starting point. Output here, output here. Let's see. Apparently it works. Good. Now let's check it. Metallica poster. In output, I only have this one, so it works nice. So I need to do two things. The first one is to identify in a way that this is an input. This is the tricky part. Okay, so how can I do it? There are a number of ways. Again, I could do this filter function just for one column. For example, I could do the same filter. Let's copy this and paste it here. I'm going to do this, but only from C2 to C. Okay, and then I'm going to count it. Count A. So it says 2. Why I need this 2? Because I'm going to add at the end of this, or maybe at the beginning, I'm going to add a field that is called input. Okay, how do we do this? There are a number of ways of doing it. We could use the repeat function. Specify text repeated a number of times. I'm sure there are many more intelligent ways of doing this. This is the one I'm thinking of right now. So I'm going to put repeat. I'm going to repeat to put input and then 2 times. But input I'm going to put at the end maybe a semicolon. Then I'm going to, with this split function, I'm going to split it by this semicolon. This is why I use the semicolon. Okay, so it does this. Finally, I'm going to transpose it. And now this is why I need. Okay, so the only weird thing is this count A that I'm going to put instead of my 2. I know I'm entering really weird territory right now, so I'm sorry. Maybe there are easier ways of doing this. It has happened to me in the past, and then someone of you that are smarter than me can write and tell me, well, this is an easier way. So unfortunately, I cannot redo the videos, but I can put it in a comment, and future people that see it can have easier ways of doing it. This is a way to show off, but no more than that. Okay, so what I can do, finally, what I can do is put this transpose as a first column. So I'm going to copy this, and here in my filter, I'm going to close this up in brackets. So I'm joining 2 tables. The first table will be these 2 inputs I showed you here, all of this crazy thing. Then I'm going to hit semicolon so that it puts the rest at the end. Let me see, it's not working because I have another equal here on the equal sign. Actually, I need to separate this not with a semicolon, but with a comma. Now I have it. I can move, I'm going to move this 1 column to the right. And here, I'm going to put a type of transaction. You could even add a different type of transactions, maybe adjustments, recalls, whatever. And we're going to do the same for this one. So let's copy all of this crazy formula, paste it here. We're going to do a selection. Let's select all these 4 cells. Actually, I only want to change in this formula, but for the selection criteria to be activated in my search and replace. So here, specific range, I'm going to change input for output, and only in the formulas. Let's go zoom down and replace all. Replace 5 instances, and now it looks really nice. I have input and I have output, but I will change this output so we have it in upper in both cases. Sorry, output. Okay. So finally, what I'm going to do is to combine the 2 similar formulas in one big formula, where I'm going to put this one after this one. So I will copy this formula without the brackets. I'm going to paste it after this other formula, separated by a semicolon. That's it. And I will delete that. And I already have my input and then my output. But what I want is to order them. I don't know what is best. If from earliest date to most recent date or backwards. Well, you can choose. So what I'm going to do is put all of these formula inside a sort function. So here in the help, I see that I will put the range, then I'll put the column, and then if it's ascending or not. So the column will be the date, that is number 5. And I think if we put 0 is ascending. Let's see. No, actually this is descending. So let's put 1. And this is ascending. So now I have mixed successfully these two tables in one, and I've ordered them in whichever way I want, and I have added this new field of input output to know if it was something that came in or something that came out. So here now I can see the reality of this product, what has happened. And finally, what I can do is, depending on if it's an input or an output, I can do the inventory. So I can say inventory or stock, and I'm going to zoom in a bit to the formula. So I'm going to do an ifs function where I can put several conditions. So the first condition is that if this is the row number 9, if the function row number 9, then just put whatever is in here. Okay, let's test it. So here is perfect. Normally this will be an input. The first thing you do is buy a product, so it will normally be an input. Then let's do the second if, that if it's not here, if it's not number 9, so we need to see if it's input or output. So if it's input, then we add. If it's output, we subtract. So let's do it. Let's say that if B9 equals to input, then I'm going to add the row on top. In this case would be G8. I'm going to add this one, C9. And otherwise, if this is output, if B9 equals to output, then let's do G8 minus C9. Finally, if this is blank, if B9 equals to blank, then just leave it blank. And that's it. Let's hit enter and let's drag it down. So here it's 8, then I subtract 2, so it's 6, then I add 3, so it's 9. And if I drag it down a bit more, it stays blank. So I'm going to leave this maybe up to 50, remove all other rows, and drag this formula down. And that's it. So we're going to do a quick test with a new product to see that everything works. Let's try this new product. I think after the warehouse thing we did last video, we damaged this this data validation, so I'm going to remove it for the moment. Okay, let's see. We have this new product. It's called Red Hot Chili Peppers t-shirt. So I'm bringing here the main fact, the current stock. So here it looks like I have something wrong with my FIFO system, but again, if you don't have in place a FIFO system, this would work perfectly. I will take a look at this for a new video to see what's wrong with my FIFO system. But for now, what I wanted to show you is this, that I can see my inventory in where it started. It started in 5, then I sold 2, so I'm 3 in the inventory, then I sold 3, so I have 0 in the July 7th. Then I bought another 6, so now I have 6, I sold 1, I have 5, I sold another 3, then I was remaining with 2, then I bought 7, so my stock went up to 9. So I can see the ups and downs of my inventory in real time. So it looks nice, and it has the initial inventory and the current inventory. So I have current stock. Instead of this, here I could put initial stock, and it will be this G9. So I'm just going to format this a bit, delete all these columns from I onwards, Control Shift right, Control Alt minus to delete. Let's see if we remove the grid lines. Still looks good. Maybe I could move this way, and I could combine these two and these two. So I could move this a little bit to the left. Better. I'm going to change the font to this one, to a nicer one. And I'm going to put this in bold, this in a yellow color, and this inside a darker yellow border and a bit thicker. That's it. I'm going to add some rows to the above. Remove the formatting, remove the data validation. And we could add a title here, transaction history, or whatever you want. Let's combine this, center it. Here I'll do the same. Same here. Something happened here. This is, given that I added some columns, then this is not row equals to 9, but row equals to 12. And actually I'm going to delete this so it will change again. It should be row equals to 11. Okay. So this is it. It's nice. I don't want to put formatting to this because given that it will change, then I will have to do some kind of macro to adapt to the number of rows. I could do it, but this we could leave it for another day. Maybe we're just going to center this and put it a bit with a smaller font size. And that's it. So here you have your transaction history for any product. So if we choose any other product, then you can see easily what has happened to the product in the past. Here, this is a product I've never bought or sold. So this is why everything is in error. Then I could wrap this in an if error function if I want, or I could just do this drop down, not from my product list, but from my input list. So I make sure that, or even from my stock. So I'm sure that I may only select products that have been bought at least once. Okay, so I hope you like it. I hope it is useful. And if you like it, you can support the channel by subscribing to it or by going to practicalsheets.com, where you'll find not only the templates and the formulas so it can be easier to copy and paste, but you'll also find courses on Google Sheets, Google Apps Script, and more. Hope to see you there. Thank you so much. See you next time.